Good morning, guys. Danny here at Partay. So let's start off our Monday morning with some truth. So here's some truth. These LED floodlights that are here, right, are supposedly 100 watts. So I'll take it at face value. So 100 watts. So I did the lookup and specs on these bulbs. They're LED bulbs. And did the specs on them so that I could understand and measure, because you can calculate based on beam angle and lumens exactly how much lux from a distance that they would provide on the screen. So here's your truth. This right here, this little ball right in here, not even the spread, but that little ball is around 300 lux. This little piece up here is somewhere in about the 150 lux. The rest of this is going to be somewhere in about the 50 to 75 lux. That's it. That's it, guys. Primarily because these aren't necessarily close, right? And the only two that are really impacting, and I'll show you something in a second that'll prove that, the only two that are really impacting are here. This one here so far away, it's really not putting a whole lot of light on the screen. That one, when I calculated the distance, and I roughly gave it just say 6 feet, which was, or excuse me, 5 feet, which was just a little under 2 meters. So I did the distance there, and you were getting somewhere in the ballpark about 35 lux. That's it. But, it looks bright, so it looks good for camera. But just going to show you that don't be fooled by these kind of tricks. You can see how much light's hitting the screen, right? And you can see this over here is still dark. So let's take a look at something else. So here he steps up, and you can see that the bulk of the light that's hitting is coming from here and here. And there's another scene where he steps in front. You can see this over here is pretty dark, and I'll show that in just a minute. But I want you to look how dim, compared to a white wall with light hitting it. And yes, it's washing out, but look how bright it is still compared to this. Just not a bright screen, guys. All right, next. Okay, and there's your difference between your white levels. Keep in mind, a white wall, I'm assuming white matte, which means that it would have, around a 1 gain. There's your white. There's your white levels. Just pitiful, pitiful, guys. But see, you don't notice that unless he's got it around a lighter screen. You won't pick up on that, right? So if you're just watching the screen, you think this looks white by comparison to everything else. And not as much on his screens. A lot of screens that I've seen, the whites look very white, perceptibly very white. His screens, they always look gray. And once again, while you may be getting more contrast here, you can see the image is actually brighter here, still on a washed out wall. What is here is very dim. These should be cranked. I mean, these colors in this video pop on a black screen done right. This is not popping, and it's not because of these lights. That's what he would have you believe, but it's not because of those lights. You can see that light's washing this part right here out, but not this. Not this, and it's still dim. Now, I know for some time, this knucklehead has tried to be the victim, try to portray himself as the victim out there, where he is victimized and taken money off a lot of people for a really poor product. But I want you to listen to this, and does this sound like a victim? This is why folks like myself and some of the others in the mixing community want to make you aware of this knucklehead. But I want you to hear this. This is why.
Now, I wouldn't even bother saying match or better or demonstrations, because like I said, no one does demonstrations on our level. And I always tell...
You hear that? So that's the claim. The claim is nobody ever does anything at his level. He is the master of all he surveils, which is total complete BS. You're talking about a guy who claims to earn $100,000 a month. And I want you to look. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just saying, look, if you're earning $100,000 a month, buddy, you don't live like this, okay? And you don't operate a business out of your basement without license. So total BS. And here's another thing. I'm just going to say this real quick. He keeps touting the summer sale, which, go for it, man. Go for the summer sale. But at the same time, he's talking about how fast this stuff's moving off the shelf. When you're moving product, truly, guys, okay, first point of business, if you're moving product and it's flying off the shelves, you don't drop your prices. Okay, you drop your prices whenever you're not moving product, or it starts to stall, slow down. You try to reinvigorate through a sale. You don't throw a big sale whenever people are buying your stuff and you can't stay on top of it. So it's just bullcrap. Like I said, this is somebody who has no idea of business, how business is run, but he's going to try to fool you guys by showing you a bunch of paint cans and a bunch of UPS boxes that he's shipping them, buying them, and it's just total crap. You know, anybody who protests that so much, you won't hear me talk about that. I may tell you that we had a good weekend or something, but other than that, I'm not going to go into it because that's my business, how much I'm selling. Right? And as long as I'm selling and I have I'll tell you right now, I don't mind being transparent and saying that our quota for Goppity Goop for the year is 33,000. We hit 33,000, we're a success, and we're already ahead of the game right now. So that mark should not be difficult. My understanding is that once we go, well, I say my understanding, my estimates are once we go to Amazon, we'll surpass that. But, you know, I'm not going to try to make it out to be something it's not. We're not going to earn $1 million off Goppity this year in its first year release, and I'm not going to tell you it's flying off the shelves at a rate of 100 quarts a day. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to lie to people, but you'll hear that kind of thing here consistently. All right, so next. All right, and this is more on a personal note, and this is basically to say, dude, don't even bother. He says he's going to do a 28-foot display, right, from here to there on his black screen. I wouldn't even bother because I've already done it 32 feet away with a 2500 lumen projector with a light right in front of where the screen was this way. Okay, already been done, and it'll look better than anything that you'll pull up there, I promise you. And here's why. I'll show you this again, and I'll offer up evidence here. This is only 14 feet away with a 4,000 lumen projector, and I want you to see how dim this is. Okay, you look at this. This is cartoons. The colors should be popping. I mean popping, and they're all blue. I mean, take a look for yourself. Everything's got a blue haze. Now that's in part for two reasons. One, because it's a dim screen. It doesn't give off a lot of light, so therefore it can't really compensate for the amount of absorption that's happening from a projector 14 feet away. At the same time, you've got a lot of silver metallic in here, and that silver metallic will shift a lot of your colors to a blue color. So there you go. That's what you're going to get. And lastly, I'm going to show you this. Actually, first, shameless product placement. So there's Goppity Goop. I actually keep a couple of cans here. That's just my wife wanted to do that because she's kind of proud of how things are going with it. But anyway, I want to show you that he claims that nobody else will do this either. You know, put their screen out in the rain. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to put my screens out in the rain normally. But that being said, any of these screens can be taken out in the rain because they're acrylic paint, right? I say his. Now, mine's not acrylic paint. Mine's acrylic, okay? But anything acrylic, once it's cured, you can take it outside and in the rain. So every mix that I know of out there that's available, whether it's acrylic or whether it's enamel, you can take these out in the rain, and the rain's not going to hurt the screen unless you leave it out there for long periods of time. Then it gets waterlogged. If you had a deluge over a number of days and you leave it out there, yeah, it may start to warp the screen a little bit because the paint, when it starts to dry, because it will absorb some of the water, when it starts to dry, you can get some ridges and things like that that'll kind of bubble up on the screen. But other than that, just to take it out and it get wet one time, you walk back in and wipe it off 2 hours later with a rag, no big deal. And that's anybody. That's not this knucklehead. That's any acrylic paint, and he should know that. But he doesn't, I'm sure. I'm sure he thinks in his mind that his is the only acrylic that is waterproof. So, once again, just things for you guys to know. I hope you have a great Monday, and you guys take care. Bye.